50% chance of showers, high near 84. Currently, it is 67 degrees. In the studio with me this morning is Sports Director Sean Temple and Sports Information Director Nathan Baliva from Monmouth College. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Good.
That was a great interview with Paul Bubb, who has Monmouth College ties, the WIU Director of Athletics. So I don't know if you had a chance to hear it, Nathan. If not, yeah, feel free to click on the podcast. That was fantastic. Apparently his wife is from here. He coached here at Monmouth College.
Graduated from Monmouth College, was an assistant basketball coach, I think, for a year or two, early in his post-college career. Yeah, I spent some time in this area. Was a color analyst voice of the Scots for a while. So, yeah, very interesting interview. He's a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan, how are things on campus this summer? Some things, going on the football field here or there, but how are things?
Yeah, pretty quiet. We've had some new coaches come in and, got to meet those guys so far, and a few new assistant coaches. Soccer assistant coach started last Wednesday. Cole Schreiner, who came in to assist both the men and the women, and already went out recruiting over the weekend. The new track assistant coach, I believe, starts today. The assistant coach, who will be replacing Coach Danny Evers, who left at the beginning of January. We've got a new baseball assistant coach who came in a couple weeks ago. He's still in the process of moving down here full time with his wife from Bradley Bourbonnais. They were in that area at Olivet, so he's been in the office a few times. So I've gotten to meet him. I think he's more in the office, this next couple weeks as they find a place to live here in Monmouth. So it's been a lot of transitioning with that kind of stuff, which is exactly what happens this time of the year at any college. Pretty much at any level, you get movement for a variety of reasons, and you've got coaches and staff spots to replace with those kinds of things. And then, you mentioned out on the football field, some high schools have been out there. We've had camps out there of our own. Football had their first camp in June. Their second camp, I think, is the weekend of the 28th, 29th. It's coming up here at the end of July for the junior high and high school kids. Track had their camp the last week in June outside. That was the week we had the tornadoes come through, so they were inside for one of those days as it rained on them, and they got some of the bad weather there. The basketball camp is coming up next week in Glenny, so there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, and then some high schools come up and do their 7-on-7 drills here. I know we've had a couple last summer, a couple this summer. One's already been through with Elmwood Brimfield, came through I think last week, and there's another one coming up this week too. So it's a quiet time, I say, but there's never nothing going on. It's kind of one of those kinds of spots and facilities, even with the college, when there's no students there for the summer. You can drive through campus and still see a bunch of people all over the place.
We're pretty lucky and very fortunate to have the access to such great facilities for our local high schools to be able to participate at that level. It's good for the college, you're getting exposure, but it's good just for the kids in general to be on those courts, on those fields, and see those dorms and locker rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a 3-on-3 basketball tournament there a couple of weekends ago with that kind of stuff. And last summer we had the marching band that came in, the drum corps that were on campus for a month or so last summer. And I know we do some things with our own, different groups like that as well. So, it's really cool for the high school kids to be able to do that, to see. I see it with my own friends and their families that are sending kids off to camps at different colleges and places like that. So it's good to see that others come up and are able to use Monmouth like that. And then there's Monmouth students right now that are all over the place doing all sorts of things for the summer, that are affiliated with the school. There's sorority and fraternity national meetings. One of my student workers was just in New York doing that, and she was posting pictures from Times Square, and they get to see different parts of the country and do those kinds of things. And I know we've got a bunch that are involved in things like that to go to the national conventions for different organizations throughout the summer and get to experience different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and use that as an experience as well. They bring back to Monmouth for the next school year.
And let's talk about, I got a chance to meet your new basketball coach for the women. Tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, Michelle DeCoud, she came here from Nebraska. She was coaching there for the last 5 years. She was a graduate assistant there and then an assistant coach. She played at the University of Dallas, a 3-time All-American there, which is a Division III school. So she's played at this level, knows what it takes to succeed, to win, to be an All-American at the Division III level. She's a Colorado native as well. So I think I mentioned one other time when we talked about her, that kind of opens up that part of the country. If she's going to has come from Nebraska, went to school in Texas, grew up in Colorado. Those aren't 3 traditional Monmouth College, recruiting spots. And obviously to be able to recruit to Hastings, Nebraska, which is where she's been for the last few years. That's the area that she knows. So now for her, she's learning this area, but also, kind of has her bread and butter in that area, which is something that's new for us. Same with our volleyball coach, who is from Nebraska, has coached in a couple of different spots before being at North Central. So, they're both learning Illinois and Iowa high school sports and those kinds of things, but they're also, bringing different markets and different areas for us. I know on the basketball side, Coach was up in Chicago over the weekend recruiting. She had a few students on campus last week. Coach Brookmeyer on the volleyball side was off at a tournament, and that's what the coaches do this time of the year. They're either working camps, which double as recruiting, or for those that are in sports that play in summer tournaments like basketball and volleyball, baseball, softball, with all the travel teams, the AAU. They're off just about every weekend recruiting in a different location, different things like that. Our men's soccer coach was in Florida last week working at a camp, and I don't remember where he's going this week, but I know he's got another one that he's out at, and Coach Paterni's been down to a few different summer league games and checking out players and coaches. Same with Coach McClory on the softball side. So, those sports that have the AAU and the summer events that, the people that are listening, if your kids are out there playing and stuff and they're high school age, there's probably college coaches watching somebody at those games, whether it's, you might not be like, oh yeah, that's Coach so-and-so from, Illinois or whatever it might be, Division I, but there's probably Division III and junior college and NAIA coaches. They might be incognito with a hat on and, checking it out, but if you're playing in a pretty good tournament for volleyball, softball, basketball, baseball, whatever it might be, there's probably a college coach checking out somebody at those things.
Okay, we're talking with Nathan Baliva, Sports Information Director from Monmouth College, and Sean and I both chomping at the bit to talk, now that baseball season's over, meaning college, we still got the Nationals, the National League, that is, or American League if you're a White Sox fan.
My baseball season's over too, so.
Football season, set the stage for us as far as the coaching goes, and at the Monmouth College golf outing. Some of the young people told us Silas Braun going to Monmouth College.
Yeah.
So that's, everybody knows him from Monmouth Roseville. So kind of give us a glimpse into Fighting Scots football.
Yeah, there's a handful of new local recruits. The roster page got updated July 1. So if you want to check that out and see, which of the area players are coming in, that roster page is updated with names and mostly with numbers for them as well. So that's loaded up there. There'll be a couple new assistant coaches. One's already on board, and Miles Norwood, who played at Purdue, was a defensive back there in the mid 20 teens, and he's a Texas native. So again, like I mentioned with with basketball, that opens up a new market for us. They've already been down checking out players in Texas. There's not a lot of Division III colleges in Texas, and there's a whole lot of really good athletes and student athletes, and especially football players in Texas. And that's where Coach Miles is from. And he'd been coaching down there at the high school level, so he's a defensive back coach for us. I believe.
And he lives, breathes, and dies football, because that's what Texas is all about.
Yes,
so.
absolutely true.
That's a good asset for Coach Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at everything high school sports down there, and some of those high school fields are hold 6,000 or 10,000 people, which is just crazy, and they're multi-million-dollar facilities that look like cathedrals. So he definitely has that, and then he knows the Midwest. He played at Purdue and had some success there as well on the football field. They'll have another new assistant coming in here shortly as well to replace Coach Daniel Hill, who moved on to Franklin over in Indiana to get closer to home. There's a lot of really good talent back. A handful of fifth-year players, including quarterback Carter Boyer, who's in there on the offensive line, with Derek Brown as well. So there's a lot of fifth years that are back, and then a really talented group of youngsters moving up. So we're going to kick things off on that first Saturday in September, Labor Day weekend, over at Wartburg, and they made the Final Four last year in Division III football. So that'll be a challenge to start the year with that Saturday night game. And then conference schedule, there's some good, there's some bad out of the conference schedule, but the first home game on September 9th is the University of Chicago. So boom, right away, you've got one of the conference contenders, and we've played a couple really good games with Chicago in my 2 years here. We had a pretty good sized lead on them here in 21, and they came back late and made that a game where we had to hold on at the end, and then blocked the field goal to win the game up there last year. And they'll have a ton of talent, so that's how it starts. And then we've got a month without a home game because we go on the road. We've got the bye week, and then we're on the road again before we get into a couple of week stretch of games at home, with homecoming here against Grinnell in the middle of October, and then on the road again, and then back home, and then we get Lake Forest at home, which is nice to have them coming down here this year. And then of course we end with Knox that second weekend in November with Senior Day and all that. So the schedule is online for not just football, but for all of the fall sports. We've posted on social media for football, for both soccers, and for volleyball. Those 4 have gone up on social. This week we've got cross country, women's tennis, and then the golf schedules. Those will go up on social here today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but they're already all online. So fans that want to check out any of those fall schedules, start making plans to come out to games. They're all posted at mommouthscots.com. Rosters are posted as well. Rosters are even up for the winter and spring sports. Those schedules aren't completely set yet, though. So.
And you had to go somewhere, Sean, because I had to do the Knox Monmouth game, or I had to have my husband and his fraternity brother.
I think
for
they had a
me.
high school playoff game. I think.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
you did. Yep.
It was so cold
Yeah.
in that Knox College press box, no heat. So be thankful for the facilities we have here.
Love our
Yeah.
facilities, man. I love them.
Yeah, that was a crazy day last year, and it will be this year too, because
Crazy snow too.
it snowed, but it always crosses over. That's the Saturday of crossover season. So this year don't have the full basketball schedule set, but I can tell you that both teams open at home on the same day as Monmouth Knox, which is also at home, and there's a swim meet. So if anybody has a cloning machine before November 12th, I'm gonna need one of those, because we're gonna go. We times aren't set for the others yet, but it's gonna be something like a noon football game, a 1 o'clock swim meet, and then probably a 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock basketball doubleheader on that Saturday. So that'll be an interesting day. But yeah, the fall schedules are starting to come out. We're looking, August 9th, the football players show up, and August 16th, the rest of the student athletes roll onto campus. And now that's was a month from yesterday. So a month from today, we'll be doing all the headshots and taking photos and all that stuff as they move in, and it'll be here before you know it.
Nice. Okay, good update, Nathan. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you again next week.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
All right, Sean, did you have anything else you wanted to ask Nathan
Nope,
this
I
morning?
was actually going to talk about the fall schedule rollout that you've been doing on social media, and you already covered that.
Great
Got
minds
covered.
think alike.
There we go.
Exactly.
Put us three in charge of
Right,
this
right.
whole world. We'll get her fixed.
Just make sure when I'm here in like November, we're giving weather updates like today instead of what he tells me with the.
Well, she's
with
giving
the
a weather update. Every
I know.
time I do, it's bad.
Yeah, but you give me the S word all the time from like November on, and she's over here saying 86, 84, 82.
I'll just bring her in to do the weather,
That's right.
and then we'll start
That's
our
right. It'll be
interview.
good.
No, you guys. Go have a great morning.
Yeah, I will. You too. Thank you.
That is Sports Director Sean Temple and Sports Information Director at Monmouth College, Nathan Baliva, at 8:27. Good morning.